Welcome to Investment Solution by EDHEC-Risk Institute. Today we are going to talk about investment solutions and how it has become the most meaningful framework for investment management decisions. First, we are going to talk about the old paradigm. How is the process that has been used for many years for managing assets and why it needs to be changed and updated. Eventually going to talk about the Industrial Revolution which is underway and which is impacting the investment process in a very meaningful manner. We're also going to talk about how liability-driven investing and goal-based investing have become the modern forms of investment management with substantial benefits from an investor standpoint. And finally, as a conclusion, we are going to talk about the much needed shift away from a focus on alpha or outperformance towards a focus on beta or risk management. Okay, so the old paradigm was based on the search for outperformance. In the old days, what a good manager was, well, a good manager was a manager who could outperform a given benchmark, let's say the S&P 500 index. And typically that was done through security selection decisions. Now, after many decades of relative inertia, where not much has happened in terms of significant changes in investment management, we have finally reasons to believe that a true industrial revolution has arrived in investment management. Profound changes are currently taking place on at least three main fronts. The first of these fronts is mass production. As in all industrial revolutions, the ability to produce investment portfolios in a massive scale and in a cost-efficient way is a key component of the expected change in paradigm. Now, the interesting feature that is taking place as we speak is that mass production is now applied to not only cost-efficient but also risk-efficient building blocks. These risk-efficient forms of portfolios are typically called smart beta portfolios. Not only are we now able to get cost-efficient access to risk-efficient building blocks, but we also have a capacity to deliver mass customization. And that's precisely what the investment solutions is all about. The investment solution revolution is all about. It's all about providing mass customized investment solutions to millions, potentially millions of individuals throughout the world and also thousands and thousands of institutional investors. In addition to mass production and mass customization, a very interesting feature is also taking place, which is mass distribution. And clearly, with the advent of robo-advisors and the digital disruption, which is impacting wealth management just in the same way as it is impacting other industries, we actually have come to a time when all those three forces combine together to finally bring about this much needed industrial revolution. Well, let us be a little more specific about the benefits of this investment paradigm, this new investment paradigm for asset owners. Well, let us recognize that investors, asset owners, are facing problems. And as anyone who's facing a problem, well, we don't need, investment products to solve our problems. We need dedicated investment solutions. So the very concept of an investment solution is simply dedicated to a better understanding of the exact nature of asset owners' problems and how we can help solve them, address those problems through meaningful investment decisions. These meaningful investment decisions take on different names depending on whether we're talking about institutional asset owners or individual asset owners. In the context of institutional money management, this new paradigm is known as liability-driven investment solutions, or LDI in short. The very same concepts do also apply in individual money management, where the paradigm is known as goal-based investing solutions for individuals. In other words, individuals are not facing formal liabilities like pension funds, for example, would be facing. Individuals have meaningful goals for which they need dedicated investment solutions. Well, this profound shift towards a goal-based framework is actually something extremely profound. Even ISO, the international standards, has shifted to goal-based definition. So if you look at the definition of risk in the International Organization for Standardization, well, risk is now defined as the effect of uncertainty on objective, on someone's objective or someone's goal. Well, this is very much different from the previous definition of risk, which was chance or probability of a loss. Well, the very concept of a loss is somewhat irrelevant. What matters is an investor's ability to meet a meaningful objective. That's the only thing that matters, and this is the only meaningful definition for risk. In brief, investment management can be regarded as the art, science, engineering, and practice of how to efficiently spend investors, whether they are individual or institutional investors, but efficiently spend investors' risk budget and dollar budgets so as to meet their goals and liabilities. And the key complexity comes from the fact that these risk budgets and dollar budgets, both of them are fairly limited. In other words, investors, asset owners, have very limited contributions to invest towards the achievement of their goals. And also, they have a very limited appetite for risk-taking. So the real challenge is how to spend those risk budgets and dollar budgets in the most efficient way. Well, the answer to this complex challenge has nothing to do with outperforming the markets. It has nothing to do with being smart. It has nothing to do with what we call alpha, anyone's ability to generate outperformance through security selections. This is mostly irrelevant. What's relevant is, in fact, risk management, also known as beta management. There are actually three forms of risk management that matters. The first form of risk management is diversification. Diversification is a very simple concept that says investors are only willing to take on risk to the extent that risk is well rewarded. In other words, investors are risk averse. They have no appetite for risk taking unless they get the fair reward in exchange for the risk taken. And that's exactly what you can achieve with a well-diversified portfolio. The second form of diversification is hedging. For parts of their portfolio and at some particular points in time, investors will want and desire to be safe as opposed to seek risk-taking. And what we mean by safe should be truly safe. In other words, the safe portfolios for investors should be well aligned with the risk factor impacting the investor's liabilities or goals. And finally, the last form of risk management, which is extremely powerful when it comes to the design of investment solutions, is insurance. And insurance is meant to accomplish something that sounds almost too good to be true, which is providing upside if and when needed, while at the same time protecting on the downside. In other words, insurance is the risk management technique that can and should be used to try and achieve our individual and institutional investors, helping them achieve their otherwise meaningful aspirational goals, while at the same time securing their most important, most essential goals.